Jersey is ready. Penn State and Rutgers set to get it on in a quarterfinal game of the NIT. Let's go to Lewis Brown Athletic Center now.
Okay, Chris, tonight, NIT quarterfinal action, and you're right. The rack is jumping. Penn State Nittany Lions in town to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Other action this evening. New Orleans is at Vanderbilt, and tomorrow night, Hawaii at New Mexico, and St. Louis at the Ball. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. Ron Franklin with Mike Rice here in Piscataway, New Jersey tonight for this quarterfinal action. And Mike, two teams that know a lot about each other because they both play in the Atlantic 10. And as Chris said, the rubber game as far as the match is concerned, each has won one. Penn State won it by 11 down there. Rutgers won it by 2 here.
Normally you need more than 1 day. These teams don't. It's Penn State inside. They treat the three-point shot like a disease. And the other side, Rutgers, they've missed more three-point shots than Penn State has taken this year.
Well, for the Nittany Lions, it starts and ends for the most part with a big guy in the middle. Ed Fogel is his name.
Well, Ed Fogel has to do everything tonight because James Barnes, the second leading scorer, is injured. Every time Ed Fogel fouls out of a game, Penn State loses that basketball game, so they have to keep Ed Fogel in the game.
And what about the home team, the Scarlet Knights? Well, the two guys that actually lead them didn't start school here wearing the Scarlet Knight colors, but they are here now. They play a lot and they play well.
Well, the two Syracuse transfer students, we have one, Earl Duncan, a great penetrator. He only made all third team in the Atlantic 10 this year, and he wants to prove the coaches wrong. The other guy, Keith Hughes, you have to stop him. He's taken more shots this year than Penn State's two leading scorers. If you stop Hughes, you stop Rutgers.
Well, as we said, the rack is jumping tonight. It might be spring break, but a great crowd on hand here tonight in Piscataway. It's the Scarlet Knights playing host to the Nittany Lions. We'll be back with the starting lineups after this.
ESPN's presentation of the National Invitation Tournament, Penn State versus Rutgers, is brought to you by Florsheim Comfort Tech, total comfort or a total refund at participating retailers. By Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
Well, Penn State's road to the NIT quarterfinals. First round, they defeated Marquette by 3. Second round, won over Maryland by 2. And for Rutgers, first round, win over Holy Cross 87-78, and they defeated Fordham 81-74. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Sears Die Hard. And now let's go to the public address announcer. Here's Jim Wilson.
Good evening and welcome to the Lewis Brown Athletic Center on the campus of Rutgers University. This is a quarterfinal game of the National Invitation Tournament featuring Atlantic 10 Conference opponents, the Nittany Lions of Penn State University and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First, for Penn State, at one forward, number 23, a 6'9" sophomore from Clearwater, Florida, Dave Daggett. At the other forward, number 24, a 6'6" freshman from Lakeland, Florida, Deron Hayes. At center, number 40, a 6'9" senior from Hatboro, Pennsylvania, Ed Fogel. And at one guard, number 15, a 6'3" sophomore from Aberdeen, Maryland, Monroe Brown. And at the other guard, number 21, a 6-foot sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, Freddie Barnes. The Nittany Lions are coached by Bruce Parkhill. And now, here are the Scarlet Knights. At one forward, number 31, a 6'8" junior from Carteret, Keith Hughes. At the other forward, number 32, a 6'4" sophomore from Washington, D.C., Darryl Smith. At center, number 24, a 6'7" senior from Washington, D.C., Anthony Duckett. And at the guards, number 3, a 6'3" junior from Los Angeles, Earl Duncan. And number 15, a 6'4" freshman from Morrisville, Pennsylvania, Mike Jones. The Scarlet Knights are coached by Bob Wenzel.
Bob Wenzel in his second year as the head man here at Rutgers. We'll take a break. We'll be back with the opening tip in a moment. Penn State 23-8, ninth in the nation in rebounding. Rebounding margin. Fogel 16 points in the 2 NIT games he's averaging. Rutgers 5-0 as far as NIT home court record, and Hughes 26 points a game in the 2 NIT outings. And Michael, a couple of injuries that are going to hinder these two clubs tonight.
I think so. Of course, James Barnes, second leading scorer and a big rebounder, really hurts Penn State because they love to go inside. And I think we'll talk about the other one. I think that'll hurt Rutgers also. Carter being out.
Jones passes the ball, stolen away. Hayes, and he has it taken away. Jones comes right back with it. Inside to Duckett, and he dribbled it on the inbounds line.
Duckett was getting a fast start. He only takes 3 shots a game, so he would have used up a third of his shots tonight.
Brown out on top with the bounce pass inside, and the jumper. Vegas, it's good. Dave Vegas, 6'9" sophomore out of Clearwater, Florida. In fact, interestingly enough, their 2 starting forwards are from the state of Florida.
They've got a pipeline to the Heat. And they didn't stop that inside game. When we talked to Coach Wenzel this morning, said, I got to stop the inside.
Turnover. Penn State comes back with it. Brown. In and out, unlucky bounce. And Hayes in the follow.
You mentioned him, Deron Hayes from Lakeland, Florida. He's really been coming on as a freshman. He's been playing well. And Penn State starts the game in a zone. Normally they'd go man-to-man, but I don't think they have anybody to check Keith Hughes.
4-0. Nittany Lions on top. Inside. Duckett gets it. Anthony Duckett, a senior, 6'7", out of Washington, D.C., puts the Scarlet Knights on the board, and they're down by 2. Looking for Fogel inside. Well, that says it right there.
They started a zone early in the season against Penn State. Everybody did, because Penn State just doesn't shoot 3-pointers. The zone worked the first time. Second time, no good. Now they're going man-to-man, and they have to do a better job inside.
Penn State starting off with a hot hand, 3 of 4. Nice no-look pass, knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Scarlet Knights. As Duncan trying to whip it inside to Keith Hughes.
Earl has a bad ankle. He's had it for the last half of the season. When he doesn't get a lot of rest between games, he has trouble penetrating. And we see the foul right there. And when he doesn't penetrate, Rutgers isn't a great offensive team.
Mike Jones picks up the foul. Brown, I beg your pardon. Brown, his first, team's first. Duncan outside, pulls up just inside the line, won't go. Jones on the follow, and he'll go to the line, I believe, for a couple.
One thing Rutgers does well is the guards really rebound. Here Duncan shoots it. Mike Jones, the other guard, comes in. Very athletic, both guards, Jones and Duncan, and both can rebound on both boards.
Freddie Barnes picks up the foul. Freddie, a sophomore out of Greensboro, North Carolina.
The guy that they keep their fingers crossed, Ed Fogel, he just cannot foul out. When he doesn't play 35 minutes, they're 0-10. So he needs to play the whole ball game for Penn State to be in it.
Jones misses on the second. He's a 59% free throw shooter. And it's a 6-3 ball game. Nittany Lions on top as we have played the first 2.5 minutes of this quarterfinal action. Jumper in and out and back in again.
Well, Rutgers had gone to the zone already. They said they wanted to play a man-to-man. Penn State was really playing better against zone lately, but they're gone zone, both teams.
Nittany Lions get a chance to go into double figures and push this one out to a 7-point ball game. Whips the pass inside Fogel, and that's going to be Jones grabbing him across the wrist.
I think more than anything else, Bob Wenzel is trying to change defenses just to take away the passing lanes, the patterns that Penn State gets into. Once they get into a flow, they have a great inside. You'll see Fogel really seal well tonight.
Inside Fogel. 10-3. Penn State jumps out to a 7-point margin playing here at Piscataway.
See, that time Hughes, a lot of people think Fogel fouls all the time. He rams into you before the ball comes in. They call it the seal, but they should call it the ram when he does it. We'll watch with Hughes later in the game.
Earl Duncan out on top. Goes to Hughes. Bumped on the way to the hoop. Shot won't go. Rebounded by Penn State's Freddie Barnes. And a whistle inside, and that's going to be, I believe, on Duckett.
Right there is the defense trying to double team Hughes in the middle. That's going to be the key all night long. Hughes, as we said, he's taken more shots than Fogel and Barnes, the two leading scorers for Penn State on the year. So he's a guy that's not afraid to shoot the ball.
Duckett did get the foul. It's his first inside, and the easy hoop by Diggins. Danica is checked into the ball game as Penn State has gone out to a 12-3 margin. Bob Wenzel has seen enough. There's a timeout on the floor with 16:15 left until halftime. Penn State by 9. Don Franklin and Mike Rice. Rutgers University tonight, the Scarlet Knights. As you take a look at this replay, great look inside, Mike.
That's the seal. When they front on one side, they really pass the ball well, and Ed Fogel does a better job of banging into his man and then rubbing off. They call it the seal.
Mike, here's how you win on the road. You shoot 6 of 8, 75% to start the game. Rutgers is 1 of 3 for 33%.
Penn State is really recognizing the defense of Rutgers and getting the ball down to Fogel, and everyone knew it ahead of time.
We said Danica in the ball game. Where's number 13? He's a senior out of Elmwood Park, New Jersey.
Hughes inside is being double teamed in this zone, so he moves outside.
Hughes strong to the hoop, kind of forces the shot. Penn State comes up with the board, and they'll take it all the way to the hoop, and scoring is Barnes.
Hughes takes around 18 shots a game. If you can make him force half of those shots, you'll beat Rutgers.
Here's an interesting note also. Front court scoring. Penn State, 12 points, and for Rutgers, 2 points.
They should be able to shoot a little better against the matchup. Right now, they're trying to force Hughes into their lineup. Right there, you saw the double team and the push, and they knock Hughes down inside. He's moving outside now.
That's Fogel's first foul, team foul number 3 in the Nittany Lions. 14-3, they're on top.
Penn State shuffles into a man-to-man from the out of bounds. A change of passing lanes.
Duncan for 3, got it. Well, that's a way to take you out of the doldrums and also add it up in a hurry.
And he was the big man with the bad ankle against Fordham. Fordham played a great ball game, and Duncan was probably the difference.
Vegas. Now to Hayes on the floor. Back to Davis, and he is fouled on the way to the hoop, and he'll go to the line for a couple.
Daggett didn't think he'd have this much playing time the whole season. Daggett's power move almost took steps. Definitely got fouled. And Danica and Daggett have been going at each other for 3 years now. They're both seniors. And these teams really don't like each other in the last 3 years in the Atlantic 10. They played last year in the conference championship, and Rutgers went on to the NCAA, and Penn State went to the NIT.
Daggett is a 66% free throw shooter. Misses on the first attempt. Danica, now a senior, was a starter last year.
A lot of people did much better last year that are on the bench this year. Perry, Danica, Duckett, they all were starters, and their averages were way up. And then the 3 new players came along, and it changed the face of Rutgers.
Danica misses. Inside, Duckett on the follow. Anthony Duckett, the senior out of Washington, D.C. Youngster playing with a broken foot. As Mike was telling you, at the other end, that's an air ball. Lumpkin, who had come back in the lineup replacing Smith, number 44, comes down with the rebound. Inside, Duckett.
Well, that's
back
the way
to a 5-point ball game, and one thing Penn State has done so far, they've kept the crowd out of it. Not right now.
Yeah. And that's the way Duckett played last year. He took 250 shots last year, and he's only taken 100 this year. So Mr. Hughes is getting his shots.
He's off to a good start as Hughes picks up the foul. Duckett now with 6 early points in this one in the first 6.5 minutes.
There's Hughes following Fogel, and he leaves him go right there. Now they double team him. And played a little close. As you can see, they're trying to play a lot of different defenses on Fogel underneath.
14 fouls in the Scarlet Knights. Turnaround by Fogel.
And he has something to say to Keith Hughes about his defensive ability. It hasn't changed from when he played at Syracuse.
Fogel now with 6 points. And the Nittany Lions push it back out to 7. Looking for Hughes inside, and he is drawing a world of blue attention.
It's a 1-2-2 matchup, and Rutgers trying to send cutters through to get the disorganization of the matchup. There's a cutter going right through there. Duncan comes out, and he's wide open, but they missed it.
Lumpkin. Who said his shooting was a little off recently? He blitzed it. Jumper from the left side, and Deron Hayes with the answer for the Nittany Lions, and it's back to a 6-point game.
Freshman of the year in Atlantic 10, sat out last year with a stress fracture. We have more people with stress fractures on this court than...
Lumpkin passes up the 3, 15-footer, not there. And a rebound by Hayes. Mike, tell us this. If the game's in the 60s, that's Penn State's ball game, isn't it?
Yes.
If it's in the 70s or the 80s, that's what Rutgers is looking for?
Right. And you can speed up the Penn State team. They're easy to set tempo against. You go down and press them. They haven't been real good against the press this year. Rutgers hasn't tried it as they throw the ball. Good pass inside.
That was a nice one. Daggett just looked to see where he was going to go with the basketball before he had his hands on it. Perry checks into the lineup. Lee Perry, senior from Freehold, New Jersey, 6'7", 210 pounds, and Lumpkin, who hit that 3-pointer a moment ago, is over on the bench, and Bob Wenzel is not talking about the 3. He's talking about the 15-footer that he missed right after that.
Perry played a lot last year. Hasn't got the same playing time this year, but he's capable in there, the senior.
Normally plays the 4 spot and can light it up pretty well.
As can Danica, that's just taking the shot.
Running jumper off balance, forced it some, and Fogel with the rebound. 11 minutes, 45 seconds left until halftime. 19-13. Penn State leads this quarterfinal action of the National Invitational Tournament. Also tonight, New Orleans is playing up in Nashville against Vanderbilt. Air ball inside is Daggett.
Well, they
couldn't find the range.
Against Maryland, he had a great game in the second round of the NIT, but Rutgers has the scouting report on Mr. Daggett. Perry
uses the body to take it back, and the rebound. Deron Hayes has done a really good job on the boards so far.
Well, he really has, and really coming around as high as 18 against George Washington this year, but a much more confident basketball player now.
Inside, not there, tipped by Daggett, counted. Now for Hayes, one offensive and a couple of defensive boards. Daggett's now with 7 points.
Penn State normally a man-to-man team, and going with this matchup zone tonight, and it's bothering Rutgers.
Danica deep in the corner. Perry comes down with it. That was touched last by Penn State. Scarlet Knights will hold on to it. Timeout on the floor, 10:31 left in the first half. Penn State 21 and Rutgers 13. Turn back the clock just a couple of nights ago. Maryland against Penn State. Let's freeze it right there. Was Mustaf's foot on the line? Yes, it was. He cans this shot, but Mike, mistakenly, the clock operator gave him a three-pointer, 78-78. Gary Williams didn't know at the time, did he?
And the club didn't know it. They ran off about 20 seconds on the clock, and Penn State came up a 2-point winner. I don't think Gary Williams was too happy about that after the game.
That is indeed unfortunate, but it certainly can happen, and it did just a couple of nights ago. Penn State won it 80-78.
Has been a real great year for Maryland this year.
Jumper by Perry. First two for him in the night. And we mentioned to you, he can light it up when he gets it going, so he hits his first one.
Tempo is the way Penn State would like it. No fast break baskets, no outside shooting for Rutgers, and a lot of inside shooting for Penn State. It's their ball game so far.
50% now, 6 of 12. Crowd wanted a 3-second violation or a 5 count. 63% is what 50% of Rutgers, 63 on Penn State. You feel momentum maybe changing just a little bit. I think this is an extremely important trip as far as Rutgers getting back into this one.
Rutgers a little more aggressive in their man-to-man, and I think that's what they have to do against Penn State. Really put pressure on the guards, and that's the way to stop the ball from getting inside.
Jones would have counted had it gone, and the finger is being pointed at 21 Freddie Barnes.
Penn State has time to pass the basketball. Freddie Barnes and Monroe Brown do a good job. When you pressure them, they're not great passing guards. Freddie Barnes is a better penetrator.
2 fouls on him. Now, Freddie's the catalyst to this ball club, and he has played extremely well against this Rutgers team.
Massachusetts, West Virginia, they pressed Penn State earlier in the year. Whenever they have 19 turnovers, they lose the ball game. That's the magic number. If you get them to turn it over 19 times, they're going to lose. And so far, Rutgers hasn't come close to that figure.
Mike Jones, freshman, Morrisville, Pennsylvania, 6'4", 175 pounds. As Duckett comes back into the lineup. And Perry will go back to the bench. Gets them both. Rebounding in the ball game, as you see after the made free throw. Full court pressure. Penn State solves it extremely well. And at the other end, it is blocked by Duckett. Michael Jennings, 0-0, had come in during the timeout. Take another look at that block.
Well, Jennings a little nervous here. He probably should have, when he got the ball, he really should have taken it to the hoop hard. And you just see Rutgers is bumping a little more now.
Smith going to take it back out and set it up. 21-17. It can be a 2-point ball game, and it is.
Little tempo there. Rutgers pushed it down, got the ball into Hughes before Penn State had time to set up their matchup.
Just under 9 minutes to play.
Here comes that pressure we were talking about that Penn State doesn't like.
Hand in the face.
A little different getting it inside now with the hands up.
Pass thrown away. Bruce Parkhill still sitting very calmly across the way. But should Rutgers score on this trip right here and tie this score, you can hear the crowd. That fourth turnover is going through his mind right now that they're going to stop doing that. Inside, not there. The tip back out. 3-pointer on the way. No good. Duncan has it stolen. Brown knocked it away and a foul in the backcourt.
Well, Bob Wenzel turned to page 3 of the scouting report. The page that says press them a little bit. Now they're starting to turn up the heat. Good steal.
Monroe Brown. And then he just accidentally ran into it. But accident or not, it's his second foul.
Monroe Brown's the best defensive player on the Penn State team. Really gets them going when they go into their man-to-man. Money Brown from Aberdeen, Maryland.
That's why they call him Money Brown. Monroe takes it to the hoop and pushes Penn State back out to a 4-point lead.
Of course, when you pressure out, it allows the guards to penetrate. And Penn State's guards, the one thing they do well is penetrate. We saw it there with the pushed-out defense.
Just inside the 3-point line, it's a 2. Duncan would love to have had it been a 3, but you could see his right foot on the 19.9 line.
He's been consistent. 23 times he scored in double figures this year for Rutgers.
So he's got 5 tonight, and that one is stolen, and a foul. And that is strictly out of frustration as Darrell Ricks had the ball taken away from him. I beg your pardon, Deron Hayes, and he just reached up and grabbed him, and it's the second foul on him. Timeout on the floor, 7:24 left until the halftime. Penn State 23, Rutgers 21.
Earlier, Rutgers was dropping back into that zone and man-to-man. Now they're putting a little pressure on them out by half court. They're making each pass a little tougher to get into. Therefore, instead of looking into Fogle, they're trying to penetrate, and Rutgers has been much more successful playing the pressure man.
Points off turnovers. 4 turnovers in the first 2 minutes for 5 turnovers since. That's the Scarlet Knights. 23-21. Penn State by a couple.
Penn State will stay into that zone as long as they keep Hughes contained.
Nice feed inside. Duncan, and the ball is stolen. Knocked away. Monroe Brown gets it across court. Michael Jennings, 0-0. Loses the ball as he had a tip on the floor, and Smith comes up with it. Behind the back to Perry. Showtime.
You can see right there that Rutgers has better athletes than Penn State. Loose ball. 3 Rutgers players got a hand on it.
We are tied. Fogle with the shot. Rebounded by the Scarlet Knights. Smith down court. Danica has it blocked by Fogle, but it's knocked right back out to Duncan.
Penn State having trouble getting into the zone.
Not there. Hughes as it comes back outside to Jennings. Fogle's left alone in the lane, and he misses.
Rutgers did a bad job of getting back on defense, but Penn State missed the open one. When it's transition time, this favors Rutgers, and here Jennings goes in, and you can see how quickly Rutgers goes from defense to offense. No one back for Penn State. 3 people for Rutgers. If it's a running game, Rutgers goes to Madison Square Garden.
By the way, that foul on Monroe Brown, and that's 2 on the sophomore. Tied at 23, just over 6 to play. Earl Duncan, junior from Los Angeles, at the line, and he is the wrong person to foul out there right now. He is an 81% free throw shooter.
His nickname should be Money when he gets on that line.
And it happens every time. As soon as you compliment him. He had a great game against Missouri. 28 points, 8 assists, and had no turnovers.
One has to remember he did play for Syracuse, so he's going to miss a few foul shots.
Missed them both, and Rutgers comes down with the carom. Duckett. And the Knights turn it over. Rutgers had a chance to go in front.
Danica is a lot more minutes tonight than he normally does. He scored his 1,000th point for Rutgers in the tournament against Temple the other night. So He's their all-time leading three-point shooter in history.
Duckett with the rebound.
Normally that would have been James Barnes, the second leading scorer for Penn State, taking that inside shot. He hasn't been in the ballgame. He broke his toe Sunday.
Nice feed inside the Duckett. And Rutgers on top with 5:22 until halftime.
Duckett only averaging 5 points a game. He's having a career tonight.
He's got 8 points right now. Brown behind that screen of Fogle.
See the pressure. They don't look in well. And once they do look in, this young man is not used to scoring in there.
Is that going to be on Datica? Is it going to be on Duckett?
I think Datica might have reached in.
Datica got the foul. That's his second and team foul number 7. Oh, 6. I beg your pardon. They'd already rotated it. So one more. Actually, one more in the bonus situation for both clubs. Tip inside, and that's going to be offense.
A little better defensive effort with Rutgers. And I don't know if it goes hand in hand with the fact that Keith Hughes is out of the ball game. But they are concentrating a little bit more on defense.
On the scoreboard, they've got number 13 with a foul, but I believe it's 23 Dagets, isn't it? Hughes is back in the lineup. Yeah, now they change it. First one on Dagets, but it's a 1-on-1 situation. Hughes has really been kept in check tonight. Only 2 points.
And that's normally, if you keep Hughes with 2 points, you're 10 points up. But Penn State has forgotten about their main man, Ed Fogle. Rutgers hasn't stopped him, but Penn State's guards have.
Fogle a couple of times in the last 2 minutes had open shots in the paint and missed 10 and 12 footers. Too hard up the front iron, gets one of the 2. And it's 26-23. Largest lead of the night by Rutgers. Penn State led by 9 early on. Brown looking for somebody to cut to. Vogel had the open lane and he stopped his penetration.
He's not quick.
He didn't take it on through, pulled it up.
We'll see next time if he tries to draw the foul.
Inside, Vogel with the block, and it's going to stay with Rutgers.
Great inside defense, as you see on Hughes. A double team on Hughes all the time. And you notice no one reached in, no one gave him the body. Just make sure the double team is there.
Butch Parkhill, he was out wanting traveling call just a moment ago.
He did a great job at William & Mary earlier in his career. And now he's rebuilt the Penn State program. First time in 34 years they won a postseason game, and that was last year against Murray State in the NIT, as things are coming down out of the crowd, I think.
Bob Winslow. Bob Winslow over. He didn't make the announcement. The gentleman handling the PA, Jim Wilson, did. But some things are coming out on the floor, as Mike said, and that's the reason for the hold-up in play. Tim Higgins. I saw Timmy just last Saturday. He called that Oklahoma-North Carolina game down in Austin.
That's a great game.
Yeah.
There's only one thing wrong with this announcement. The Penn State fans are completely in the right corner, and the Rutgers fans now are saying it's the Penn State people that are throwing. This is an NIT game. Penn State got quite a few tickets to it, and they could be the ones.
In and out jumper won't go as Perry got buried in the middle. What was going on there? It looked like a fullback with a lead block.
No, that was a box out.
Stolen by Brown. And Fogle, who had missed 3 straight, puts an end to the drought. And before that, Mike, Penn State had missed 5 straight shots.
And that's not Penn State. If they want to win, Fogle shoots 62% from the field. And That little cherry pick basket there will help his average.
Vogel's got 8, driving hard to the hoop. It's going to be offense. Charge it against Michael Jones.
The patience is not there, and against a matchup zone, if you send a cutter through and pass the ball, you get a shot.
Rutgers by 1 with 3 minutes, 48 seconds left until halftime. Timeout on the floor. Well, the storyline on this one, 14-3 run to open the game on the Nittany Lions. So 11, they're largely 12 points off turnovers, but the Rutgers 23-11 in a counter run, so to speak. Duck at 9 points, 4 of 4 from the field. Don't forget, coming up on Monday night, the doubleheader semifinals from the Garden starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have it for you here on ESPN. The finals then on Wednesday. Inside with the running jump hook by Daggetts.
I could score inside if they passed the ball that well. That was a great pass from Ed Fogel, the big guy who's usually in there.
Daggetts has already scored about 2.5 times what he normally does. He's normally just over 3. He has 9 right now.
And they left the pressure, and they're letting Penn State pass the ball again.
Penn State back on top by 1, 27-26. And all of a sudden, we're down to 3 minutes left until halftime, but this goes back to the question I asked you earlier. This has to be a Penn State pace in the ball game.
No doubt about it. That time,
it's only 4 points for use.
Yes, and that time the matchup zone doesn't give you a lot of weak side help like a lot of straight 2-3 zones, so you can throw it down there inside.
Jones ripping away the rebound, and then they turn it over at the other end. Bob Winsel applauds across the way and says, good hustle, let's do it again. Just take better care of the basketball.
He's their best defensive player, Mike Jones. No one said anything about passing. He's had a great year, freshman. Stopped Bimbo Coles from Virginia Tech. Mark Stevenson from Duquesne. He's had a great defensive year.
Jennings way out on that three-point attempt.
They've only taken 263 three-pointers this year as a team, so they don't shoot many of those.
Perry. Just inside the three-point line, and Rutgers back up by 3. Vogel out on top. This one takes to the hoop and picks up the dribble inside the paint.
But notice the inside-outside. As soon as Fogel threw it back outside and the defense moved out, it went right back inside. And you tell your ball club, don't play them out on the perimeter. They're going to shoot the ball inside, but it never fails.
Way too hard. Perry with the rebound. Duncan on the three-point line. It's a 2. 32-27. Largest lead of the night by Rutgers.
Barry Parkhill just yelled out, inside, inside.
Oh, this crowd really making some noise at the rack. Vogel inside, and he's fouled by Perry.
Good offensive concept. The dribble drive and then the stop and the bounce pass right there. Look at the seal. Good inside help that time. Rutgers has not had a lot of good weak side help tonight. That time they did, but the pass was just too good.
Jones goes out. Datica comes back on the lineup. That's the first foul called on Perry tonight as Vogel knocks that first one down. Vogel now with 9 points, can go to double figures on this one. As Lim Joyner, a junior out of Wilmington, Delaware, checks into the lineup. Brown will get a break with 1:17 left until halftime. They don't want him to pick up another foul right before intermission time. 3-point game.
If Ed Fogel could work with someone like Alonzo Mourning on how to seal and get position, I think someone like Alonzo Mourning would score 100 points inside. Fogel does it the best.
Not there. Tip inside. Count it. Boy, that is persistence by Hughes.
That's why he's so difficult to guard. He can rebound. He can shoot the three-pointer. Does a little of everything.
Now he's got 4 points in the last minute. Takes him up to 6. Jennings has it blocked.
That was a great block that time inside by Rutgers. They were really playing Fogel hard, and they didn't even see Jennings drive.
Look at Hughes.
And Hughes, beautiful. Now Hughes is coming to life.
Shot clock is off. And you see Rutgers stacking out on top. They're going to run it down about 10 more, well, not actually 10, about 8 seconds now before they set it in motion. Well, they better set it in motion.
This guy will.
Duncan fired to the hoop, took a chance on getting an offensive foul, and they will come away dry on that one. But they head to the locker room after being down by 11 points early. It is Rutgers by 5 at halftime. So at intermission time, it's Rutgers 34, Penn State 29 in this quarterfinal action. Let's go back to Chris Fowler. Chris.
Okay, Ron and Mike, thank you very much. Expect a close finish in this game. The last 3 games in this building between these teams decided by a combined 10 points, but Rutgers won all 3 of them. Other third-round action in the NIT tonight.